All right, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be the recap here for this Friday, April 14th, 2023. Let's go through the first trade, which was we started off with a mini Nasdaq, and actually Einstein performed extremely well. The patterns formed extremely well. I did not, and I want to go through that real quick here because even after trading for 40 years, and this is something that's true with trading just in general. I don't care how long you've been trading. There's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. So I want to show you one of those mistakes that I made today. And I say one because I'm usually making a few mistakes during the week. It's part of this game. But the key is that if you make a mistake, you want to make sure that you exit your mistake right away. Even if the trade is profitable. Let's say you make a mistake and it actually goes green and you're green, don't hold on to it. Go ahead and get out of it. Either way. So started off with a nice, really short. So Einstein had a short. We did have a lower target down here. Now, once again, I mean, like I said, I'm going to hit somewhere about 72 to 80% of the time. I'm going to hit my targets, all right? Unless I hit a reversal. Reversals happen, once again, somewhere around 30% or so, or a little bit less than that, 25 to 30%. I'm going to have a reversal. But the odds are that I'm going to hit my target before reversal. All right. And so I was in this trade here for a good hour. And of course, in between, I was trading other things too. And that's really what kind of messed me up, I think. But nonetheless, I stayed in this trade for a good hour. I was short. Okay, here we go. So what ended up happening is this green line was my actual reversal. So in other words, stop, take a loss on your trade, reverse and go long. All right. So what I did is I ended up reversing. All right. But then what I did, okay, is I did go ahead and I bought, but I bought a little bit late. So it hit the reversal point. I got in late. I was distracted. But I still went ahead and took the trade and turned around and sold it. I think after getting in and getting out, I may have lost a few dollars. This was not a huge trade. All right. So then what happened is I ended up buying again. All right. And this is where the mistake came in right here. I don't know why. You can see that I got out. I reversed, okay, and I bought, okay. But what ended up happening is that I ended up buying and then hitting the sell button, which I didn't mean to do, all right. So I took my buy, which I should have, but I ended up, when it was pulling back, I got out and I shouldn't have gotten out. That was my mistake. And you can see I got out of that trade fairly quickly. It was about 15 seconds or so before I realized my mistake. And I ended up losing about a little bit more than $5,000 on that trade. Just a horrible mistake. But then I went ahead and I knew that I'd made a mistake. I went ahead and I re-entered my buy. All right. And this is where I made it on this buy, because then I added more to my position after screwing up on this trade. And the buy was up here. All right. And that was actually another buy that came in. I did not buy up here. Okay. I did not take this buy up here. So what I ended up doing is I ended up waiting for the second level to come up. It did hit my profit target and I got out. All right. And that's when I ended up getting out. Now what I didn't do, which would have been really nice, is I was done. I mean, after I screwed up on that, I was done. And I think I ended up trading too much stuff. And I really, I talk about this a lot. And when you're trading, don't try to trade two different things at the same time. Now, I've been doing this for 40 years, and even I sometimes get in too many positions. And most of the time, I can manage them. But when I'm trying to manage them and also doing a live morning show and taking and trying to answer, it's probably definitely not serving me very well, because I do make mistakes. In fact, I make more mistakes now because of that. But nonetheless, I'm still going to be able to usually go green by the end of the day. Not saying always, but usually by the end of the day. But getting those distractions out of the way is so important when it comes to trading. And that's not just, for me answering calls. That's everything. That's not listening to CNBC, not listening to news feeds, not watching news feeds. I mean, just focusing on the charts, focusing on the patterns. That's where your head needs to be. If you got too much distractions, if you have the kid screaming in the background, or the dog barking, or whatever the case may be, that's what's going to create, a lot of these losses, or mistakes, I should say. Not necessarily losses, because sometimes the mistakes can be good, but you don't want to be making mistakes, all right? That's what we want to get away from. We want to get away from making mistakes, and the only way to do that is avoid distractions. Number one, only have a couple things that you're looking at, and that's the beauty of what I do, because I only have two things. I look at my patterns, I look at Einstein, and that's pretty much it. Besides, I may look at some volume to see, what kind of volume we have coming in at a particular price when I'm getting ready to enter or exit. And that just kind of gives me an indication whether I can go ahead and hold the trade for a little bit longer, or maybe instead of buying, maybe wait for just a little bit of pullback, then come in and buy it again. Those kind of things. But overall, I'm just using two tools, so there's not a lot of distraction going on besides that. So that's why I don't see a bunch of indicators and stuff in my charts. So anyway, let's see here. So we came up here to target. Then what happened is this was actually right down here. This was actually a sell point. All right, this is a trade I did not take. That's why I drew it in white. I did not take that trade. And I had a nice little target sitting down here somewhere. That's from the prior morning, so just ignore these. These are looking at other trades, these other lines. And so I had a nice little target down over here. And you'll see, and it came up. That was an add-on point right there. That was an add-on point down there. And then when it finally broke through that initial sell point, that was pretty much all she wrote. I mean, that was it. I mean, it had a big fall off. My target was, I think my target was at 75, 30.75. So that would have been a really nice trade. But nonetheless, I did not take it because I was really trading too much. And once I got out of the NASDAQ, the mini NASDAQ, I just pretty much was done with it for the day. All right. So that being said, that was and had it not been that, I would have had a really nice trade. Had I not lost that $5,000, I still would have ended up picking about three. I don't know if it would have added that many, but I probably would have picked up at least $1,000 on that trade had I not messed up on that buy sell real quick the getting out I shouldn't have done. That was a mistake. So anyway, okay, so let's see what else we had here. So I made a little bit on the mini Russell. That was one that came in this morning as well during that first hour, and that was a short. And I almost thought that I was reversing. Once again, watching too many stuff, but I never did. And I ended up buying it, and I sold it. Ended up making money on it, and then we sold it again, and we ended up buying it. So a nice little trade on that. And then what was it? The big one came in the E-mini S&P. All right, I think I've got that. Let's go ahead and let's pull up that chart. All right, so let's look at the E-mini S&P. Once again, guys, before we get into this, if you like these videos, you're enjoying the morning show, please go ahead and subscribe. Show me that you're going to support the channel. Buy your subscription. That lets me know that that there is some value out there for you guys. I do want to continue to do it, but I want to make sure there's value for you. So please subscribe. Please share with others, and also make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever I send out any new videos. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thumbs up always is helpful as well. And thank you so much. I appreciate you guys following this and watching this. All right. Also, along the ways, if you do have questions, if you can't make the morning show and ask me questions during live action, You're free to contact me via my website, Innovative Trading Strategies, and ask me questions that way as well. All right. So, yeah. Now, the ES. For those that know about my history, I have been trading the S&P 500 since the early 80s. I mean, this has been my love for a long, long time. It's not necessarily the one where I make the most amount of money, but it varies. But if I like a trade in the ES and everything is looking good, I'm going to get aggressive with it. And that's what I did. And this was just so clear cut because this yellow line here is where I sold it. I had a nice short. I had my very first target sitting down here. Like I said, I got really aggressive on this. And that was my one and only trade on the ES. Could I have held it longer? Yeah, probably, but I didn't want to. I wanted to I like to trade in the morning for at least the first couple hours. I'm usually out of trading the indices by 12 o'clock Eastern. So I trade about 3 hours every morning. That is kind of the golden time to trade. And then if you like to trade Forex, that's also a good time, but I also like to trade Forex in the evenings. So usually between 8 and 10 Eastern is for me, it's been a really good time to trade the foreign currencies. But typically in the morning, I'm going to be focused at least the first 3 hours. I will watch the Forex market, but mostly right now it's going to be indices and the stocks, and some of these commodities like gold and natural gas. And I do watch silver and crude oil. All right. So you want to get into things that move. Obviously, indices out of everything are going to be the best. So if you had to just pick one, it would be the indices. All right. So I do like that. And for me, it's either the ES or the Russell. Those are usually going to be my two favorite. So that ended up being a really nice trade. Okay, let's take a look at stocks because stocks ended up being a pretty nice day as well. Let's see what we did with the stocks. All right, so good day today. I'll tell you right now, these AI stocks are just on fire. I mean, it's just, if I was a buy and hold guy, which I'm not a buy and hold guy, but if I was, I'd probably be buying a lot of these AI stocks because I just don't think AI is going away. I think it's going to continue to be, the hot area to be in right now. So there's a lot of AI stocks now to keep an eye on. And so I've been a lot more focused on a lot of these AI stocks. And I think most people are because the volume in SAI, which is where I had my big run. I mean, I can't remember what the volume was, but it was incredible on Friday. I think it was like 38 million. I can't remember, but it was way up there. Anyway, entry came in early. Had an entry, and I believe, this was during the morning, so I did have a buy. And let's see, when did I buy this? I bought this around 9:15, right here. And then I had these, I had a couple levels up here. I mean, it was really slow, and I really wasn't focused on it. And then all of a sudden I turned around and I saw that we had just blasted through. Now, my plan was to get out right here. That was my plan, was to get out at that second level. All right. I don't think I had anything up here that I recall, but I do remember is right around 9:15, I did have some more patterns setting up, having some higher targets, but I didn't even note those here because I was just watching. At this point, I was just going with this parabolic move. Now, the thing is with parabolic moves, sometimes these things can run $3, $4, $5, $6. I mean, you just don't know, right? So I was trying to catch a parabolic move. And so once it came up to this level and then it started pulling back, I didn't have any targets at this area. All right. So this wasn't like an Einstein target. What I was looking at is that I did see some selling coming in. I was watching Bookmap and I was watching the volume. They were starting to get some volume, some selling going on. And I went ahead and I took my profit. So I still ended up, and I wasn't going heavy, right? I wasn't really going heavy. And I ended up making $553 on OCEA. OCEA, This, I carried in, did I carry, I carried this into, I think I'm carrying this into Monday because I didn't have a whole lot of shares on. So OCEA would be something that I would carry overnight, and I'll be looking to possibly get out of that on Monday. We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't have a lot of exposure on OCEA, so I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and carry this over. So I carried OCEA over with the idea that maybe on Monday we'll get, a lot more buying coming in, and I pick it up on OCEA. So that's really the only thing. I will hold sometimes. I will swing trade. It's extremely rare that I do that. I mean, for me, 5-minute trade is kind of my threshold. You can see this trade, I held on to this no longer than, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, that's a long time for me. I really, had it not been for this parabolic move, I would have been out up here somewhere, around 421 or something. So, and that would have only been, I would have only been in that trade for, gosh, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. So anyway, so nice day in stocks, taking a small position on OCA, carrying that into Monday. Watch that, keep an eye on that Monday morning. We'll see how that's doing. And let's see what else. I think that's it. So once again, guys, please support my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you want to get on my mailing list, I don't send out a ton of emails, but I'm going to start doing, I used to send out weekly emails. All right. That's one thing I don't like. I don't like to get a ton of emails. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to get a ton of emails. So I used to send out like a weekly email. I'd send out every Friday, just kind of doing a recap of the week. I want to start that up again. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Just go to my website. There is a contact option there. Just click on contact. Just tell me you'd like to join the email list. We'll get you on there. I'm not going to bombard you with a bunch of emails. And the other thing I don't like to do is I'm not going to be a pushy guy. As far as I believe in this business, I've been around for 40 years. I just don't think, what I've noticed is that if somebody's hard selling you, then what they're selling probably doesn't work. All right. You shouldn't need this hard sell. The performance should be able to sell itself, and that's why I do my live show, because the results, the live action should either convince you, all right, or maybe it doesn't convince you. Yeah, I don't know what else would convince you, but, everything else can be doctored. What you cannot doctor is you cannot doctor live action trading. You can doctor statements, you can doctor all kinds of stuff. You can get a fake CPA to tell you that, yes, he says you made $1 million last year, but the only way to really know whether somebody's good or not is for them to trade in front of you. Watch the action, and then ask yourself, is that strategy something that I can use? Okay, this is a short-term strategy. It's not for everybody. The maximum time in the market it could be anywhere from an hour to 3 hours every day. If you trade in the evening like I do, it can be even longer. But that, you don't have to do that. You can keep your window of trading time down to just an hour or two, and you come in, you look for those moving stocks. You apply these patterns. Einstein Runge gives you the levels, and that's it. As long as you're in the moving stocks, you're gonna have movement and volatility, and that's the key. And you just get better and better the more you do it. Always start off small. Never trade money you can't afford to lose. Remember, this is a risky game, and sometimes even if you're the best trader in the world and you make a mistake, it can still hurt you. So. I have heard stories of people running and going to the restroom and coming back and realizing that they were down $100,000. So, I mean, and that's actually a true story. So, and the guy ended up putting monitors in his restroom. I swear to God, that's the truth. So, anyway, I mean, you just can't, when you're trading, you got to take it very serious. You got to be very risk adverse. You got to have your finger on the trigger and be willing to get out. If you're doing, light, if you have a bigger account and you're doing, a small amount of shares, I don't think it hurts to carry it if you think it's a really strong stock. But like I said, the most I'm ever going to be, and ever was, is a swing trader. I'd hold the position for 2-3 days. That's it. I don't like to go any longer than that. All right, so that being said, look, everybody have a great weekend. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you want to get on the email list, we'll get you on there and we'll start doing these weekly updates. So I can do a recap for those that maybe can't watch these videos. And then you can kind of look at the overall performance for the whole week. All right, everybody have a good weekend. Talk to you Monday.